We received a direct message from a mom who seemed particularly desperate and heartbroken about her situation. Didn't give me a lot of details, but shared that she really needed to talk about something that had happened to her son. And she talked about how through a device they didn't even know didn't have a filter at home, her son, who I believe was 8 or so. So when I heard that, I'm like, oh my gosh, about the age of when I was exposed.
Mm.
And for months, he had been consuming what she discovered was truly horrible, graphic, explicit content. Not
Whoa.
because he was intentionally wanting to, but a curiosity led to a search, which then led to, I mean, Adam, I didn't fully answer your question earlier because we got onto some of the statistics, but that curiosity is natural. And then it was weaponized. And I think sometimes that happens to both 4, 14, and 40-year-olds, right? Why? Because God has wired the human, human beings to desire that kind of connection with another person. And when used in a good and positive way, like I said, there are amazing outcomes that come from that kind of intimacy. But when weaponized, it can be, taken in a direction that does so much more harm because of the
Yeah.
neural pathways that get so excited and lit up about it. And that's what happened to this boy. So what was the problem was this mom, and she said something really heartbreaking, Bethany. She said, every time I look at my son, I just feel like he's broken, that there's just something wrong with him. And I said to her, I said, and I'm not going to, share her name. We'll just say Maria, just for, anonymity. I was like, Maria, I want you to remember something. No matter what he looks at, he's still your amazing son. And she just broke down in tears. Like
Yeah.
she needed to hear that no matter what he looked at, that doesn't change his identity. It doesn't change who he was as a young boy. And that was just so encouraging to her. Then she could approach him with confidence and with calm and try to help him. She was afraid to talk to him because she thought that he was broken in some way. And her shame and
Yeah.
guilt was contributing to how she was parenting him more out of fear and out of guilt than out of forgiveness and love and a caring that she needed to be for him. And I had almost an identical, I mean, like days later, I had another mom who came with a very similar story, and I was able to talk to her in the same way. And so, right, there's the heartbreaking side of that, the side of that where exposure can happen so quickly. But I also want every parent to know, because eventually all of us, no matter how hard we try, if we have kids in the world, they're going to see something we don't want them to see. They're
For
going to be
sure.
exposed to something we don't want them to be exposed to. And I
And it's
want us to know how to respond.
something that stood out to me that you said earlier is like we don't want parents to be fearful because and I'm probably in that genre of moms that has a bit of fear in this area. Like it feels overwhelming to me to think that I have to protect 3 young boys the best I can, and kind of equip them to handle the world the way it is now. And yeah, I just think there's so much weaponization. I like that term
Yeah.
because it's almost like it's so true. Like it becomes a
Mhm.
weapon against yourself once you get stuck into this addiction. But yet, so much of society embraces this and has accepted it. And like, if you're an adult, it's just okay. But I think people don't realize this is the separation that you're feeling with your loved ones. And it's hard to,
Mhm.
feel like there's no more loyalty, like there's no more devotion to one person. And so we're raising up this generation of young girls and boys who
That's right.
are already entering into that season when they might have wanted to find a wife or a husband, and yet they're already entering into that relationship pretty broken in a sense, and like not able to come to the table with a healthy, healthy place. And so yeah, there's just
Yeah.
so much I want to
There's a lot
there's a
to
lot to
unpack
break down.
because I mean as a parent you can even feel that like guilt and shame cycle. Like gosh, I feel so awful that I allowed this to happen to my child,
Yeah.
or as a pornography like a user, someone just feeling so guilty and getting stuck in that cycle of like, well, I'm not going to dig myself out of here. Might as well just keep going down that same path that I've been going on. And, it's destructive. And these, like you were saying, though, it's a beautiful gift. Like the Lord has blessed us with the family, blessed us with an intimate marriage and these wonderful gifts that the Lord has given, but the devil just twists them and devises them as it's such a great term as a weapon to use against God's creation, against marriage, against the institution that the Lord has meant for a blessing.
And that's the difficulty, because it's right how the devil is characterized in scripture. It's an angel that does destruction, right? So it's sometimes clothed in white and it looks okay and it feels okay. And it's not just a husband-wife issue in terms of, Bethany, what you were talking about. Pornography is a rupture of relationship at all levels.
Yeah.
Yes, it ruptures the relationship and the intimacy between a husband and wife, but it also ruptures the relationship that you have as a consumer of pornography with your children.